Morning, guys. It's a new day. Same sweatshirt, different day.
It's a work sweatshirt, and
Yeah.
you're working.
I'm working.
So round 2 of the oiling of the Butcher Black countertops went really well.
Yeah, Christina had a great idea. Instead of wiping up the excess, let's just leave it on there overnight and see what gets soaked in and what's left. And as you can see, most of it's soaked in. There's just like a little puddle here and a little puddle there, but for the most part, it's sunk in, and there are just a few little dry spots left over. But so I think that's inspired a change plan. I think we're done sanding. I don't think we need to sand anymore. It's very, very, very smooth. But I'm just going to start to oil it again. I'm just going to oil it and let it soak in, and then oil the dry spots and let those soak in until it's just completely saturated. After doing some research on other tongue oil applications that aren't this specific brand, that seems to be the common practice. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that, and we'll be done. I'll be able to let it dry. We'll be able to use the countertops gently for about a week until it's fully cured, and then it's all systems go.
Yeah, so that's almost done. And then today we're going to work on installing the windows finally in the kitchen. So I just need to, for the natural, what am I trying to say? For the natural restoration process, you want to paint on the window so that the paint covers the putty and some of the window. And so you have to cut away some of the extra paint that you put on the window. And then that's basically it. So we have all the hinges, we have all the hardware, and we'll show you guys that today. This window is still covered in cardboard, and it is cold in here. So we'll be happy to have like an actual sealed window space.
I'll just be glad not to be looking at plywood and cardboard and painter's tape. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
it's gonna be great.
It'll be an upgrade. So hopefully trying to get that done today as well.
And then, if we can, if there's still energy left over, we're going to try to assemble that armoire so we can empty out our car and be able to use that again.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to do that. It's just 3 huge, massive boxes, so we'll see if we have enough energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we just talked about. So I need to cut this paint away from the glass. So we're going to use this. We're going to place it here where we want it, right? We have a new blade in our little razor cutter, and first we'll wet it down with a little linseed oil soap and water just to make it like a little softer so it's easier to cut. We have to cut all of these, and then we have to flip it over and cut them all on the other side. Now, if you remember when we were doing this section of glass up here is in a slit, so it doesn't have an actual like rabbet for us to have puttied, but I did putty that side, so I just need to make sure that I don't overcut this. We'd done this before in the last one to see putty on the other side. It's just aesthetics. It doesn't hurt it or anything. So I'm going to be making these cuts larger than we've made before to match up with the cut I know that I have to make up at the top here that has to be pretty large. So that's what we're doing. Still trying to figure out what size I want. I really want to take this blemish off, but I think that's going to be too thin. Right, I'm going to need the other one because the force, I can't get force on the end. It's moving. It's not flat.
It's hard.
I am not happy with this at all.
I found it easier to continue to wet them.
I don't think the wetness is the problem.
Well, it's the lubrication does. I'm just saying it makes it easier. I'm not saying that it's part of the problem, just saying it will make your life easier. Okay, so the problem we're having this time that we didn't have last time is that it's almost like the paint is still wet, but we know that's not the case. So I think the linseed oil soap is like almost like melting it, and it's making it really hard to get like a clean straight line. It just bleeds. So we're gonna do less of that, or none of that, and just see if we can clean this up. That's not good.
he does it fine. I don't know what the problem is. Like, why I can't do it. I was like, is it the paint? Like, I don't know what it is. But it makes me really unhappy. And like now there's no going back. Like I can't go back in time and like try to fix it. Like there is no going back in time and trying to fix it.
The problem here is that the paint actually is not dry. The white paint. It wasn't being melted. It was just not dry, and that makes no sense. We painted these 7 days ago, and we've had a wood stove going in here practically the entire time except for nighttime. But I mean, it's still warm in here. I don't understand.
And the red paint's not dry either. See?
And now the red paint's not dry either. That's been over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right now, we wish we had never started this or done it this way. I mean, it looks easy. All the videos that we see, it looks easy. Like this was, we thought it was challenging last summer, like in the middle of the summer during the heat, and we figured we'd be better at it this time because we've already got a couple windows under our belt. But it's harder. This is way harder because it's just not drying. And we had to do this because we need windows. It's wintertime, and these, you know, frankly, we're not in very good shape. So I guess we're going to do the best we can with what we have, and maybe just repaint them in the summertime. I don't know.
I'm not repainting these. Like, they're gonna just stay crappy. I mean, the amount of time and effort that you need to like put in to get these to look like semi-decent is like ungodly.
Astronomical. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you have a studio in which like you have like plenty of time to just like mess around with your windows and like do nothing else, I would not recommend this at all.
Yeah, so doing this in the middle of an 800 square foot house when you're trying to get things done so you can have a baby, absolutely wrong circumstances to try to do this.
So don't do what we do.
Don't do what we did. If you're in our circumstances, get these done professionally by somebody else.
Or just use like regular products. Like if you just use regular paint, like regular oil paint, I'm sure regular oil paint will dry within like 24 hours. It's been a week and it's not dry. And it's been 2 weeks for this other side. And this other side's not dry. And that like just doesn't make any sense. Like that's not usable. Where we're at. So I have cut in the red side, which has been drying for over 14 days, which is the opposite side. Still wet on the glass. So we had a problem last year where this took a really long time to dry and it became like an ordeal, like weeks and weeks and weeks of like just doing a couple windows. And we're like, well, it's the heat of Virginia and the humidity and this and that and blah, 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 excuses. You know, we're novices, blah, blah. So we let that slide. Doing it this year, I have to say that I would not recommend this product at all. Unless you have your own workshop, unless you are willing to wait maybe even a year to like take it from start to finish, I think it's very finicky. It's very difficult for a DIYer to do. You know, I've seen people do like great stuff with it online, like, but I mean, again, like people who are working like really hard or like that are professionals. And it's just like, if you're trying to get something done, if you actually want to like redo your window and put it back in your house, I would not recommend this product. I mean, we don't have 5 weeks to sit here with these windows and wait for them to dry. You can see that they're right next to the wood burner. I mean, it's very, very dry now.
There's sunlight coming through there.
Yeah.
Fairly ultraviolet light's important for the drying process. It's got plenty of light.
Yeah, it's got tons of light coming in through the window. It's got tons of heat. It is very dry. There is no humidity now, and it still won't dry.
And I had just thought that maybe, you know, maybe when Christina applied it, she just put it on thicker coats or something. Not the case.
Nope. So I have not put it on thick. I put it on as thin as possible. I was like, maybe the paint's just like old and inferior. I mean, like there are a lot of reasons, but on the whole, like you don't want this if you're doing a window restoration project. You don't want this hassle.
Yeah, so if you have a heated workshop, you know, or a separate space, well lit, and plenty of time, you know, this could be a cool thing to do.
Yeah,
but,
and I mean like infinite time. Like if you want to restore a bunch of windows, I would give yourself a year. Like a good 6 months. Like you want to make sure that they're bone dry, like between every single coat. And like there's just no way to get these done like in an expedient fashion if you are a DIYer. Now again, like I see people online who actually like live in Sweden, who have their own workshop and do this for a living. So like obviously it can be done. Maybe the weather in Sweden is totally different, or their workshop is like, I don't know, has the perfect temperature for these windows. They also like have a professional studio, but it's like for DIY, would not recommend. Don't buy it.
And if you do buy it, film all your stuff on time lapse so you don't hear any of the cursing or any of the crying or any of the meltdowns, because they will happen for sure.
I mean, you can see this right here. I mean, like zoom in on this. This is supposed to be a clean cut line, like all the way down, and it is just a mess because it is still wet. And like again, like it's wet and it's after, you know.
It's been 7 days, 8 days.
It's been over a week in these conditions. So yeah, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it again. And we have to do one more large window in the kitchen. And I want all of our windows to look similarly terrible. So that's what we'll do, is like, we'll still do that big window because like, I want them all to match. But like, I mean, like if I refinish these windows again, I'm never using this product. Like, but I probably won't refinish windows again for another 20 years. So like, we'll see. So those are our thoughts on this. You know, we really blamed ourselves and like the conditions last year, but like, I think this is now a time to say like, hey, there are limitations to this product, and it's really trying, and it's really, you know, something that like works the nerves, because like you're trying to make something nice, and like typically, you know, if you're DIY, like you'll accept like a little bit of variance, but like this is just way too much.
I think we've made a horrible mistake. When your armoire is significantly deeper than you thought it would be and you try to figure out why. I think this has something to do with it.
Window failure to new wardrobe. It's enormous. I know, it is. It's because the wall's not straight. We've talked about this on our top 5 things you need to know before you buy a log cabin. So, this is not actually very wide, but if it has to stick out 5 inches from the wall, because the wall is like slightly concave, then it's much more in the room. But that's okay. We're glad we got doors that slide, because then at least they aren't coming out and bopping you. And this is a tremendous amount of storage, way more, well, we don't have any storage, so. Yeah. Storage.
Storage.
And now we're gonna hang stuff up in it and put everything back. So we'll see how that goes. So now, ooh, look at us. We're people that have things hung up on hangers. It's been so long. Oh, wait, who did this? Gabe.
Oh, so you're telling me there's a backwards and a forwards?
Yes.
Get out of here.
Everything's facing the same way. And then we have all the scarves, mostly my scarves.
Entirely your scarves?
Yeah, and then they have an empty basket, and then we have paper products on here, which is great, because those are just sitting out. And then on this side, we have like a few more things that basically I don't fit right now. And then some spare towels if we need some cleanup towels, and then I was putting blankets and stuff in here too, so that's pretty good. So yeah, we got somewhere to put stuff. So we have it here for now, so we'll see how it does. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.